So far, the gala was a success. Even the snobbiest ponies were enjoying themselves. While Pinkie Pie kept the entertainment going, Rainbow Dash and Applejack were hanging by the orphans, who were eager to see them both. "I want to be just like you," they kept saying to each and every one of the other. "Aw, shucks," Applejack blushed. "Think big, kids," Rainbow said. "With a lot of practice and guts, you can go anywhere." "Girls," Twilight interjected, "have any of you guys seen Fluttershy? It's almost time for her to go on." "Wasn't she in her room?" Applejack asked. "No, I've checked. She's probably in the garden. You know how she feels comfortable with the critters." "I'll go get her," Rainbow volunteered. Indeed, Fluttershy was in the garden, warming up her voice. She was so nervous she felt like she was going to crack. "Oh, what am I doing?" she muttered to herself. "I can't get up in front of every pony and sing." "Why not? We all know you're great." She turned to see Rainbow Dash in her Wonderbolt's uniform, and she embraced with a smile. "I'm happy to see you." "Really?" Rainbow asked. "Because the others told me that you haven't been very happy lately." Fluttershy glanced down at her hooves. Well, they say that you keep having nightmares about Discord." Then she looked up at her with serious eyes. It was different, in my dreams. He usually just holds me and laughs, but that's what I dreamt of last night. But this time he was," she shivered, "stroking my mane, and I was letting him. I didn't even put a fight. Rainbow put down her hoof on her. "Hey, it's just a dream. You got to hang loose. This is a party. That reminds me, it's time for your song." "Oh, I really don't feel like singing." "Don't tell me that you've still got stage fright. Come on. Don't you remember you helped me with all that hurricane? Singing is different from flying. You're a great singer. You were able to sing a pet song with me. That was when I was only around you and the critters, but there are hundreds of ponies out there watching me and... Don't worry. I'll be right there to support you. We all will." Fluttershy gulped. Okay." Discord was bored near the entrance in the entire scene, proved that he had to admit that this year's gala was much more interesting than last year's and the year before. Still, there was not enough chaos to entertain himself, so he pulled a few pranks on posh ponies, like making hair appear in the punch bowl, but that could not draw his attention to himself until he looked up in the other room and noticed that the little dragon Spike was attempting to get a dance with Rarity. He rolled his eyes. "Give it up, kid. It's never going to happen," though he had to admire his presence. Meanwhile, at the party, Pinkie Pie was unknowingly making a fool of herself. "I am the P to the Inky to the P to the I to the E," she's saying. "And what does that spell, ponies? You won't believe the friends with me. I'm Pinkylicious." With that being said and done, Twilight then pulled the microphone away. "Thank you." Discord silently silenced himself. "You can finally do something, right?" The princess typed on the mic, and every pony's got their attention. "Mares and gentle colts," she addressed, "welcome to the Grand Galloping Gala. I hope you're all enjoying yourselves." A cheer erupted from the orphans, and the Lord of Chaos grunted. "Why in the world did they invite a bunch of annoying little brats?" "Well, there are more to come," Twilight continued. "We have a wide range of entertainment planned for you tonight, including an air show from the Wonderbolts." The crowd all stomped in their hooves to the Wonderbolts. They flew up in the air and bowed slightly. Discord simply yawned. "I must do that as well," he thought, but the Alicorn kept talking. "At first, we are going to hear a song from a very good friend of mine, Jares and Gentlecles, the element of kindness herself, Fluttershy." "Oh goody, this little wimpy Pegasus is going to sing? I thought that would be hilarious." He then turned and noticed the awestruck on the stallions. "What are they staring at?" Discord followed their gaze and dropped on the glass of chocolate milk that he had been drinking. The yellow Pegasus walked up closely and slowly to the mic. She wore a flowing, translucent green dress with white daisies braided on her pink, smooth mane. It was the first time in years that Discord had seen the element of kindness. His mirror did not count. He looked at her and thought to himself. It was just a momentary lapse. Fluttershy looked around towards the audience and felt her knees buckling. She then noticed her 5 friends and the Cutie Mark Crusaders right in front of her. Giving the assuring smiles, she glanced down over at the paintess, who had played his starring note. Her voice was erect first. "Can any pony?" She cleared her throat. "Find me some pony too." She stopped in panic. Sweetie Belle and her plight sang "Love." Then the Pegasus looked and said thanks. Then the pianist started to play. As their cue approached, Fluttershy grew even more nervous, so Sweetie Belle kept leaped on stage and nodded to her with assurance that made her more confident and sang a little louder. There. The unicorn filly then sang back up. Take a look at yourself. As the song was going on, Sweetie Belle urged the audience to join in. And then, Fluttershy just started to smile. They sang a lot, and the ponies stomped their hooves and cheered. Fluttershy blushed. You're doing great, Sweetie Belle whispered. Sing a little louder, then this time with more feeling. She took a deep breath and did so. The others in the audience started to sing. Apple Bloom and Scootaloo joined on stage. Fluttershy then pulled off the mic and stand. Had a wide grin spread across her face as she continued to sing. Soon the audience was nothing but background vocals, and it was a lost world around them. In a spur of a moment, she flew high into the air. Discord watched the performance in astonishment. As well as the same Pegasus that he met at Labyrinth, this was the same Pegasus that ran into the Night of the Butterflies, who hardly ever uttered the word. This pony sang that very strong, confident voice, spinning circles in the air, shining on the spotlight really the weak and helpless Fluttershy. He stood watching she dance, and during her interlude, every move that she made delicate, graceful, and single flaw present. It made him sick. I have to put a stop to this. Free Willy started singing again. The audience joined in. As they repeated the line, Fluttershy kept twirling the air, forgetting all of her troubles. For the first time in her life, she felt happy. Then she felt something grab her hoof and spun her around, but she was so lost and thought nothing of it. But yet, Ed did not even hear the screams from the ponies. It was after the mysterious partner who had dipped her right there. Fluttershy opened her eyes and smiled was disappeared. Standing over her, holding her in her arms, was the very object of her nightmares. My dear Fluttershy, I had no idea you had a lovely voice. She was frozen in place and lost all knowledge of speech. She could not even scream. A cry from a familiar voice broke the trance. Get off of her! Rainbow Dash cut in between them and protectively moved her friend behind her. What? The Triconoquest shrugged innocently. We're only dancing. Discord, Fluttershy growled between her teeth. Ah, Princess Twilight Sparkle. Or should I say your highness? Surprised to see me again? Well, it certainly has been a long time since we last met. Sorry I didn't send you a postcard. He glanced down at the fillies on stage. Woe isn't my free little saviors. Here's Apple Bloom and Sweetie Belle hid behind their sisters, while Scootaloo sought protection from the closest adult Pinky. Stop stalling, Discord, the princess bellowed. Why are you here? Well, is it obvious? I've came here to take over Equestria. The crowd gasped. The orphans cowered in fear and huddled around Applejack. Ha! Twilight smirked. You should have stayed in hiding, Discord. Now that you revealed yourself, we can turn you into stone. Oh, really? Discord said. As I recalled, you need the elements of harmony for that. Yes, in fact, intact. She then looked over at her friends and then realized that they weren't wearing any necklaces. She remembered that they stopped wearing them after a year when they figured Discord was never returning. She felt foolish now. But she stood definitely. We don't need the elements of harmony to teach you a lesson. Light enveloped Twilight's horn and prepared for a spell, but Discord raised an eyebrow. You're kidding, right? Then she saw a purple beam to show him that she wasn't kidding. He swatted away, and if it were a housefly. You really think that's going to stop me? Have you forgotten? He then snapped his eagle talons, and Twilight's horn disappeared. Hey! She cried. Give that back. Really, Twilight Sparkle? Are you going to be as big of a stick in the mud as Celestia? He snapped his fingers again, and a puddle of mud appeared beneath the alicorn's hooves. Pinkie Pie snickered. Stuck in the mud? That's funny! Twilight then groaned and used her wings to pull herself up. Just you wait until Princess Celestia gets back. She'll give you your just desserts. Discord clutched at his stomach and laughed. Doesn't matter, Twilight. Can't run a kingdom by yourself. You need Mommy Celestia to come here and make everything all better. Hey, Rainbow Dash shouted. No pony insults my friends and gets away with it. She then charged at him, but only she stepped off to the side to dodge her. Rainbow had hit a pillar, almost causing it to fall. Have you ponies learned nothing from your last encounter? He cackled. You even thought I was gone for good. He looked towards Fluttershy. Except for you, my dear. The Pegasus was stunned. How did you? She tensed up and he took a look at her chin with his claw and said slowly, I've been watching you. Rainbow then had gained consciousness and stood between them again. You touch her one more time, and you're gonna get it, Discord. He then held up his hands. Very well. I have a few things to attend anyway. He turned to Fluttershy. He turned to Twilight. I'm afraid Celestia won't be able to help you. Given her current parchment and he used the air quotes, Saddle Arabia. The alicorn tilted her head in confusion. What do you mean? He chuckled and snapped his fingers, causing an image to materialize. The crowd all gasped as they saw Princess Celestia, Luna, and Cadence sitting in a cage, their horns missing from their heads. Shining Armor narrowed his eyes at Discord. What have you done to my wife? She's perfectly fine, I assure you. And so is her fault. By the way, I thought it would be a shame if something were to happen to the mother before birth. The prince's eyes widened. Her? Yes, you're having a girl. Congratulations and blah blah blah. If you heard Cadence, Discord snapped the image away. Wouldn't even dream of it. But if any of your ponies try to defeat me in any way, your princesses get it. That includes the newborn one. In a flash, he was wearing a tie and he was standing right in front of the map of Equestria. Now for the weather. Today's forecast is cotton candy with cloudy with a chance of chocolate milk. You know what? Might even be rain cats and dogs. I hope every pony gets home safely. With a final trumpet laugh, the Triconequest disappeared and lightning struck indoors. The crowd glanced outside to see it start raining chocolate cats and dogs. Every pony screamed and ran out of the ballroom in a panic. Every pony, Twilight commanded, calm down. Everything's under control. No pony listened to her and they just started flocking outside. Keep it together. Stay inside until further notice. But the crowd took their chances and hurried home as through the chocolate storm. Even though the Wonderbolts dashed out of it in fear, only the orphans, Shining Armor, and the palace guards, and the princess and her friends remained. Applejack, Rainbow Dash, Twilight shouted. Get the orphans down to the cellar. They can stay there until the storm blows over. It's not safe for them to return to the orphanage. Copy that, Rainbow Dash shouted as she and Applejack began escorting the frightened fillies and colts out. Fluttershy, you keep an eye on Apple Bloom, Sweetie Belle, and Scootaloo. Don't let them out of your sight. The Pegasus nodded. She was scared of her wits, but she was willing to protect those free at all costs. I'll round up the guards and get the citizens to Canterlot inside, Shining Armor volunteered. Good idea, Shining Armor, Twilight said. We'll randomize the throne room within an hour. The most important thing to do now is to keep calm. As every pony set there to their tasks, Twilight then hung her head. How could I have let this happen? Equestria was in peril because she had not been prepared. Even though she did have the elements of harmony, she could not have the power without her horn. Some princess I've turned out to be. Discord continued to spread his chaos across Equestria. He turned to see the railroad into red licorice and the buffaloes into gymnastics, the trees into cotton candy canes, and even the birds into oranges. The last one, thanks to Twilight Sparkle. He then switched from night to day every few minutes so he could get to see his work. He saved Ponyville for last. Let's see, he murmured to himself. He hoovered over the unsuspecting town. What should I do? What should I do? He then paused and heard a laughter. He glanced down to see the two ponies having a picnic under the gazebo. He then recognized them as Applejack's older brother and a local school teacher. The stallion was wearing a bow tie and a dinner jacket, while the mare was wearing a pretty pink dress. Discord perched himself on the cloud and watched. It was nice of you to plan a big picnic, Big Mac, said Shirley. Yup. Her date nodded. The Triconequest had to duck to see and looked up at the sky. Beautiful night, isn't it? Big Macintosh nodded in her direction. Yup. Discord rolled his eyes. Oh, come on, boy. You could say more words than that. Suddenly, a smaller version of himself with devil horns with a pitchfork appeared on his shoulder. What are you waiting for? They're having a lovely date. Ruined it. He then nodded and snapped his fingers. Below, Big Macintosh let out a loud burp. He then blushed in embarrassment. Pardon? She's going to dump him now, the Triconequest thought, chuckling to himself. But instead she giggled. Someone had too much champagne. Discord was confused, but tried to decide something else. As for Chile took a sip of her drink, he snapped his fingers, causing the drink to spill into the champagne to Big Mac's face. Maybe he will dump her now. Cheerily smiled awkwardly. Sorry, it looks like I've had a little too much as well. They then stared at each other and both laughed. Discord was beginning to feel annoyed. He summoned up a storm of cotton candy clouds and then made the rain chocolate milk on the couple. Strange, Cheerily said. There wasn't a cloud in the sky a minute ago. She yelped down as a lightning bolt almost struck her, and her clothes and mane were getting drenched in chocolate milk. Big Macintosh ripped his jacket off and threw it over her shoulders. The two began running towards the barn and huddled inside with the warm farm animals. Shirley began taking off the jacket, but Big Mac stopped her with his hoof and shook his head. Thank you, Big Mac, she said with a smile. Then she glanced at the storm outside. Well, what dumb luck, huh? Yep. They all laughed and continued to rub their noses together. Discord slammed his paw on the cloud. I don't get it, he shouted. I illuminated them, made it like it rained on their picnic day, and are they still happy? Snickering, isn't it? His shoulder devil gagged. He then stared down at the couple as they settled in embrace and took each other's in the eyes, let out a long sigh. Yeah, snickering. You don't sound convinced. Why do you propose no pony's gotta look at us that way? Because we're too magnificent for such sap. Hey, why am I talking to you when there's even where there's ponies to hear me gloat? He snickered to himself in a way and steered down towards the clouds of Canterlot. Twilight then paced around the throne room. How could I have let this happen? You've been asking yourself for the past hour, Spike complained. This isn't your fault, Twilight. Yes, it is. Princess Celestia trusted me with running the kingdom, and look what's happened because of it. It's Discord's fault, darling, Rarity said. Not yours. Yeah, Pinkie agreed. It's his fault for make the yummy, delicious chocolate cats and dogs rain all over the place without a single dollop of whipped cream to be seen anywhere in sight. Pinkie, that isn't chocolate all over your face. She used her tongue to lick away the substance. Nope. Rarity rolled her eyes and then turned to Fluttershy. You were right all along, sweetie. I'm sorry we didn't listen to you. It's all right, Fluttershy reassured them. Rainbow and Applejack entered the throne room. Okay, the latter said. All the orphans are safe underground. The palace-less servants are bringing them cakes to calm them down. Shining Armor appeared from behind them. It's not looking too good out there, girls. The streets have been turned into lard, and we've already got 12 ponies hospitalized. And that's just from slipping on the street. Don't get me started on how many getting hit over the head with the chocolate cats and dogs. We gotta stop that big bully, Apple Bloom exclaimed. I know, Twilight said, but we can't use the elements of harmony without my magic. What if Fluttershy gives Discord that stare first? Scootaloo suggested. I don't know if that will work on him, Fluttershy said quietly. She was still shocked from the experience that being in his arms. It worked on the cockatrice once, didn't it? Said Sweetie Belle. I say we give him a good punch in the face, Rainbow shouted. And what good would that do? Applejack inquired. Even if you did manage to hurt him, he would just heal himself of his magic. Twilight, what do you think we should do? The princess buried her face in her hooves. I don't know. I just don't know. Every pony gasped as a familiar laugh echoed through the hallway. Giving up so soon, Twilight Sparkle? That's oddly out of character for you. Show yourself, coward, Shining Armor demanded. If you don't give me back my wife, What will you do, Princey? How come you don't have a pair of wings like your sister? Oh, knock it off, Rainbow shouted, putting up her hooves. Come out and fight, you chicken. She jumped as Discord tapped her on the back. Chicken, eh? He said with his claw. You might particularly be right about that. Rainbow grounded her teeth together and charged at him. Discord teleported himself to the other side of the room, allowing the Pegasus to crash in the window. Fortunately, the stained glass was strong and did not shatter. Dear Rainbow Dash, Discord said, shaking his head. Must it always be violence with you? Twilight then stood definitely and stomped her hoof. Enough of your gloating, Discord. Who's gloating? I'm mocking if it's gloating what you want. He snapped his fingers and then turned to the floor wax, causing every pony to slip. Now look how helpful I am. I've waxed the floor for you. What is your big tripping on ponies? Applejack demanded. Cut it out, you big bully, Apple Bloom hollered. Yeah, Sweetie Belle said as Scootaloo shouted in agreement. The Draconiquest swooped their level. Bully? Oh, is that something coming from the pony who's bullied their own cousin? Hey, Applejack piped in and slipped again. You leave my sister and her friends alone. Friends, eh? Choice of words, considering the quarrel that got me out of the prison block in the first place. Well, what? Sweetie Belle stammered. Don't you remember your little class trip? You mean, Scootaloo stammered, you were the statue? He then clapped his hands, which made a familiar sound each time. Give the little pony a prize and let me thank the three of you. I wouldn't have never took over Equestria without your help. Fluttershy had enough. She then flew onto the wax floor into the creature's face. How dare you? You could just immunate the poor defenseless fillies and gets away with it? Discord's eyes widened in the sun of boldness. Excuse me? She then poked his nose with her hoof. You best better watch your step, Buster, or I'll give you the stare. The what? Yeah, Scootaloo cheered. You're in for it now, buddy. Ooh, I'm so scared, he said sarcastically. Suddenly, Fluttershy opened her eyes wide and then shot some sort of beam at him. Discord didn't seem to look at her gaze for the moment, but then burst out laughing. Fluttershy looked at her hooves in surprise. Well, that should've. She then squeaked as he grabbed her and then rubbed her mane playfully. Oh, you're hilarious, my dear. Some ponies certainly got braver in the past few years. I warned you, you punk, Rainbow cried, going for the kill. Discord teleported out of the way, dropping Fluttershy in the process. Stop it, Discord, Twilight commanded. Where are you? He appeared from behind her. I'm here to negotiate. She turned to him. Negotiate? Listen, we all know you want your harmony in your kingdom and your princesses, yada yada yada. And I don't want to be turned back as a stone. So why not we make up a deal? This isn't one of your games, is it? Rainbow Dash demanded. Ooh, I love games, Pinkie chimed. Gosh, no, he summoned with a white flag. I just want to talk. What about? Twilight asked suspiciously. You want me to stop wreaking havoc, of course, good question. I simply want something in return. How about your life? That was going to be one of those things. Give us back the princesses and turn everything back to normal, or will turn me back to stone. He points at her hand. You can't do it without a horn. Angry and shining armor shot a beam at him. Discord dodged and teleporting into a door in the huff. Typical view of ponies. I come here bearing with a white flag, and all you do is think of violence. Elements of harmony indeed. Get out, Rainbow Dash shouted. You're not wanted here, Twilight bellowed. Fluttershy had been watching the entire scene with insincerity. She did not trust Discord, but her friends were not giving them the chance to talk. With his mind, she made a bold move between Discord and her friends. Twilight, she exclaimed. I'm surprised at you, all of you ponies. Fluttershy, Twilight said slowly. Aren't you the ones who said we should put the reason before judgment? Discord may be an evil monster, but who doesn't deserve our trust? I'm right here, you know, the Draconequest waved. But we should at least give him a chance to explain himself. Everyone was surprised at him, at the action. Discord was the most confused. But the fact that it seemed to be defending him that caused him to smile evilly. Well said, my dear. She then tensed up and as he teasingly stroked her mane. Frightened and frustrated, she just swatted his paw away from and flew to Twilight's face. You're right, her friend said before turning back to the enemy. What are your demands, Discord? The Draconequest grinned and floated over to his back. The way I see it, you want 3 things from me, your horn and your order of your land, your princesses. Actually, the last one counts for 4 if you include the unborn infant. So, never mind that anyway. I simply want 3 things in return. My, said Rarity. Aren't we needy? Twilight sighed. What is it that you want? For your horn, Discord began, you'll have to make a promise never to use the elements of harmony against me. What? Rainbow Dash exclaimed. Why would we make a deal like that? You want the Princess Prissy to get her horn back, do you? It's a trick, I tell you. I'll tell you what, if any pony fails to keep their end of their bargain, everything goes. I mean, if I go back on my promise, I may do with the elements that you will. The purple pony scowled, but remained calm. And the other things? If I were to release Equestria from my chaos, and I would be quite bored after all, it is my nature to create this harmony. And all I'm asking is a teensy bit of land where I am free to spread my glorious chaos undisturbed. Twilight nodded. That could be possible. What about Cadence? Shining Armor demanded. What will it take to get her back? Give me a moment, Discord said, tapping his chin. You mean you don't know? Spike questioned. I'm thinking. And as he had considered the first 2 requests very carefully, but the third one had him stumped. He had to make this last one good, so he thought about it for a moment and what would be good for his new lie. Even if he was to abandon his hostile takeover, what would he do then? Return to his empty cave and talk about copies of him? Even though if he was allowed to walk on his own chaos? If there was no point, then he had no one to share with, let alone to show it. His mind wandered into a couple he even had encounters with earlier. The way they held each other, and even talked to each other and looked at each other, he never would have admitted that he would wanted that. Then it struck him. Well? Twilight asked impatiently. He grinned mischievously. Okay, I know what I want now. Trust me. This is the best deal you're gonna get. It's a 3-for-1 deal. Huh? Pinkie Pie uttered. Applejack, you're a sales pony. Do you understand, don't ya? The Sovereign Pony muttered. 3-for-1 means the price for 1, but I don't. Precisely. I will give you 3 mares for the price of 1 mare. We'll call the unborn filly a bonus. Silence fell on the ponies. Twilight was the first one to break it. What do you mean by the price of one mare? Discord's grin widened. What I'm asking for is a bride. What? What? He knocked on the head. Hello? Anybody in there? I said I wanted the bride, exchange for your princesses. A bride? Rarity exclaimed. What would you do with a bride? I'd marry her, of course. You know, spend eternity together and maybe have a few brats or kids. You make a terrible dad, Sweetbelle cried. Oh, shut up. He then snapped his fingers and zipped the young unicorn filly's mouth close. Her older sister gasped and opened the zipper with a glare. Explain your reasons behind this, Discord, Twilight said calmly. What? He shrugged instantly. Being a creature of chaos tends to get lonely in occupation. And whose fault is that? Rainbow Dash mumbled. It's only natural. I would only feel the need for a companionship. Besides, if I'm going to retire, I might as well settle down, raise a family, and blah, blah, blah. Alright, Twilight gulped. And this bride has to be a pony? Yes. So don't try to trick me by giving me a snail or a rabbit or something. It doesn't matter what pony it is. I have no preferences except one. She has to come willingly and means no forcing, no bribing, and no swindling. She must come out of her own free will. Rarity scoffed. Who will be willing to marry you? I don't know. Want any of your mares interested? They all glared at them. Rainbow stuck her tongue out. No pony? He looked over at the young Pegasus. What about you, Fluttershy? She let out a small whimper before she could say anything. Twilight moved in between them. Get out, she said between her teeth. Discord shrugged. I'm a reasonable creature. Perhaps you can need some time to think about it. There's a cave up in the mountains whenever you want to talk. Look for me there. On that note, he vanished from the room.